Hello, listeners. This is Mac Payne here, founder, owner, and operator of the Vietnam Veteran News Podcast, where we bring you news about the Vietnam War and the brave veterans who served there, as told to you by yours truly, an American Vietnam veteran. I come to you with news. I have just published another episode over at the Vietnam Veteran News Podcast. This one is number 334.5, or as they say in the Fire Direction Center, 3345er. Doesn't matter how you say it, it's episode 3345. I have introduced this podcast 3,345 times. It is a pleasure for me to talk about the Vietnam War and the things that happened there. In this episode, I will be sharing with you a very interesting story about an Australian Vietnam veteran. His name is Peter Nash. He comes from Port Arlington, Victoria. They have made Port Arlington into one word. It sits just across the little bay there from Melbourne, Australia, which is right down there in the southeastern part of Australia. It is also further located by being 600 miles southwest of Sydney. If you were an American Vietnam veteran who went to R&R down in Sydney, like I did, you know about the country where Port Arlington is located. It is beautiful country down there, and beautiful people live there. Matter of fact, if you ever considered bugging out of this country if things got really bad, Port Arlington would be a nice place to go. So keep that in mind. In this podcast episode, I share with you the story about Vietnam veteran Peter Nash. He was drafted down in Australia, went to Vietnam, and was at the Battle of Long Tan. That was the biggest battle fought by the Australians in the Vietnam War, and they did well. It was tough, but they prevailed. It seems that 2,500 NVA ran into a group of 125 Australians and a few New Zealanders, and the Australians showed them how it's done. It was a tough battle, but they prevailed. What I find very interesting about Peter Nash's story is many of the things that he experienced during the war and after the war were very much like what the American Vietnam veterans experienced, both there and here. I think it is fascinating to hear what Australian Vietnam veterans went through. When you do those things, sometimes it helps you bear your bad memories a little better. That's what happens in this podcast. And that's why I think it is important for all American Vietnam veterans and Americans to listen to it. The Australians were a valuable ally for us in the Vietnam War. They did a great job, and they should be commended for it. The best way to commend them for it is to understand what their Vietnam veterans went through. You can do that simply by listening to my podcast episode 3345. I have made it quite easy for you to do that. You don't need to go looking through the internet or Google or whatever to find the podcast episode. I've set up 3 easy, quick ways you can access the episode number 3345. The first and easiest is to simply scroll down below this 1965 version of a Philco TV set. There, you should find a live link that'll take you straight to that podcast episode, and you can be listening immediately. But if for some reason you cannot locate that live link on the device you're watching this video on, no worries. As the Australian Crocodile Dundee would always say, all you've got to do is go to this URL, VietnamVeteranNews.com. Click on episode 3345, and you can be listening immediately. But wait, there is one more quick and easy way you can reach that podcast episode, number 3345, and that is with the UR code. I have created a UR code just for you that'll take you straight to that podcast episode. If you use QR codes, you know how easy it is. If you have not used QR codes in the past, now is a perfect time to start. Here is the QR code. All you've got to do is take out your phone, turn on the camera, point it toward the code, click a button, and you're listening immediately. It's that easy. So there you have it. I have just published another episode about Australian Vietnam veterans, and I have also set up 3 easy ways you could access the episode. No pain, no strain. So you have no excuse not to listen to it. That's what I'd like you to do. I would also like you to like this video. The more people who like it, the more often it'll be seen on the internet. That's what we want. Another way to help out there is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That'll get the job done too. It is also easy and free, so please do it. So with that in mind, I will say thank you very much for listening to this video. If you choose to go with the QR code, here it is. Whatever way you choose, please go and listen to podcast episode 3345 at the Vietnam Veteran News Podcast. Here is the QR code, which I will leave up long enough for you to have plenty of time to click on it. So go for it. Were you able to get that QR code yet? If not, I'll leave it up a little longer just for you. So have at it. This is Mac Payne closing out this short video. Thank you very much for listening. Please go over and listen to podcast episode 3345 over at the Vietnam Veteran News, whichever method you choose. Thank you again for listening. We will talk soon.